Friends, let me ask you a simple question. How do you start your day? Do you wake up with purpose, with a spark of enthusiasm, ready to embrace life? Or do you hit the snooze button again and again, dragging yourself out of bed, already tired before your day has even begun? The way you start your morning is more than just a routine, it is the blueprint of your life. Waking up early is not just about leaving your bed before the sun rises. It's about taking control of your life before the world tries to control you. You see, the early hours of the day are sacred. They are like a blank canvas. You can choose to paint them with colors of mindfulness, productivity, and clarity, or you can leave them gray, wasted in distractions and lethargy. When you wake up early, something magical happens. The world is quiet. There's no honking, no urgent messages, no deadlines pressing on your shoulders yet. It is a moment of peace, a moment of clarity, a moment where you can hear yourself think, where you can connect with your own soul before everyone else demands your energy. Have you ever noticed that people who wake up early often seem to have more time than others? It's not because they have more hours in a day. They don't. It's because they use the first hours of the day with intention. These early hours are like secret treasures, waiting to be discovered by those willing to rise with the sun. I want to tell you a story. There was a man very busy in life who always complained about how he never had time. He felt overwhelmed by his work, by his responsibilities, by the chaos of life. One day, he decided to wake up just 1 hour earlier than usual. Not much, just 60 minutes. And in that hour, he did something simple. He meditated, he reflected, and he planned his day. Within weeks, something changed. He was calmer, more focused, more present. He noticed he could accomplish more in a day than he ever imagined. That 1 hour had transformed his entire life. This is the power of waking up early. It is not about being extreme. It is about being consistent, intentional, and aware. Waking up early gives you the gift of time. Time to reflect on your dreams, to think clearly, to set your intentions for the day. It is a time to nourish your mind, your body, and your spirit. You can read, exercise, journal, or simply sit in silence and breathe. Imagine starting your day without rushing, without the panic of deadlines and responsibilities. Imagine feeling grounded, energized, and aligned with your purpose before the world even begins to demand from you. That is not a small gift. It is a life-changing practice. But I know, friends, that waking up early is not easy. Our minds resist change. The comfort of the bed is seductive. The warmth of sleep whispers, "Stay a little longer." And that's precisely why waking up early is so powerful. It is a test of discipline, of willpower, and of self-respect. When you push yourself to rise early, you are telling yourself, "I value my time, I value my life, I am in control." And once you take control of your mornings, you take control of your life. There's a reason why some of the most successful and fulfilled people in the world wake up early. They understand that the first hours of the day are the hours of creation. While others are still asleep, they are reading, reflecting, praying, exercising, planning, creating. They are building the foundation of their success and happiness. And the beauty is, this habit is available to all of us every single day. No matter who you are, where you come from, or how busy your life is, you can wake up early. You just need the courage to start. Start small. Even if you wake up just 15 minutes earlier than usual, you are taking a step toward mastery over your time. Gradually, as your body and mind adjust, those 15 minutes become 30, 40, 5, and then an hour. And in that hour, you are not just awake, you are alive, you are present, you are investing in yourself before anyone else demands your energy, your attention, or your focus. Friends, let me remind you, waking up early is not just a habit, it is a statement. A statement that you are willing to do the things that others are not willing to do. A statement that you are willing to embrace discomfort today for a better tomorrow. A statement that you are ready to take charge of your life, to design your day with intention, and to walk on the path of growth, success, and fulfillment. So today, I invite you, choose to rise before the world rises. Choose to embrace the quiet hours of the morning with mindfulness, purpose, and gratitude. Watch how it transforms your energy, your mindset, and ultimately your life. Because when you wake up early, you are not just waking up your body, you are awakening your potential, your clarity, and your greatness. And that, my friends, is the first step toward making 2026 truly your year. Friends, I want to ask you something very simple but very profound. When was the last time you stopped and truly said, "Thank you"? Not a quick, passing thank you, but a heartfelt acknowledgement of the goodness in your life. Gratitude is often underestimated. We think we need big achievements, wealth, or recognition to feel grateful. But the truth is, gratitude is not about what you have, it is about how you see what you have. And the habit of practicing gratitude daily is one of the most powerful habits you can adopt because it has the ability to completely shift your perspective, your energy, and your life. Think about it. Our minds have this natural tendency to focus on what is missing, what went wrong, what we haven't achieved. It's called the negativity bias. Our brains are wired to notice problems first, risks first, failures first. And if we don't consciously counteract it, we can wake up every day feeling incomplete, dissatisfied, or frustrated. But gratitude flips the lens. Gratitude teaches us to see abundance in our lives, even in the smallest of things. The warmth of the morning sun, a smile from a stranger, the taste of a simple meal, the presence of a loved one beside us. Gratitude is like a magic lens that turns ordinary moments into extraordinary treasures. Let me share a story. There was a woman who felt trapped in the monotony of her life. She complained about her work, her responsibilities, even her family sometimes. One day, a friend told her to start a simple habit every morning. Write down 3 things she was grateful for. That was it, just 3 small things. The first morning she wrote, "I am grateful for my cup of tea, the roof over my head, and my health." It seemed almost trivial, but she committed to it. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, she started noticing things she had overlooked: the laughter of her children, the kindness of a colleague, the beauty of the sky at sunset. Her mind, once focused on scarcity and frustration, started noticing abundance and joy. That simple daily act of gratitude transformed her inner world. She became calmer, happier, and more content, even as her external circumstances remained the same. Friends, this is the power of gratitude. It doesn't change the world outside, it changes the world inside. And the inside world is far more important because it shapes every thought, every action, every relationship you have. When you wake up each morning and list things you are grateful for, you are essentially training your mind to see goodness. You are rewiring your brain to focus on what is present rather than what is absent. And this daily practice is like watering a garden. The more consistently you do it, the more your mind blooms with positivity, peace, and joy. Gratitude also strengthens your resilience. Life is unpredictable. Challenges come, setbacks happen, and pain is inevitable. But a grateful heart finds light even in darkness. It doesn't ignore difficulties, but it doesn't let them consume you either. When you are grateful, you recognize that even in tough times, there are things that still work, things that still sustain you, and reasons to keep going. This simple habit becomes a shield, protecting you from bitterness, resentment, and despair. Another beautiful aspect of gratitude is how it impacts your relationships. People are drawn to those who appreciate them, who notice the effort and care of others. When you cultivate a habit of gratitude, you naturally become more compassionate, more loving, and more attentive. You start saying, "Thank you," more sincerely, not because it's polite, but because your heart genuinely feels it. And when people feel appreciated, they respond with kindness, cooperation, and love. Your relationships flourish, and your life becomes richer, not because you acquired more, but because you acknowledged and valued what you already had. Friends, you don't need a grand ritual to practice gratitude. Start small. Each morning, take a few minutes and write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be simple: a comfortable bed, a phone call from a friend, a moment of laughter. Then, throughout the day, notice other small blessings. Say thank you when someone helps you, smiles at you, or supports you. And before you sleep, reflect on the moments that brought you joy. Make gratitude a lens through which you see every experience, and you will notice that life becomes softer, brighter, and more meaningful. Let me leave you with this thought. The habit of gratitude is not just about feeling good, it is about living well. It transforms your mind, your heart, and ultimately your life. It allows you to savor what you have rather than constantly chasing what you don't. It gives you peace, resilience, and a sense of abundance that no external circumstance can take away. And when you start this habit today, when you consciously choose to acknowledge the good in your life, you are planting seeds that will grow into a garden of joy, contentment, and fulfillment for 2026 and beyond. So, my friends, choose to see life not as a series of complaints or shortcomings, but as a collection of blessings waiting to be acknowledged. Practice gratitude daily. Let it seep into your heart, your thoughts, and your actions. Watch how it changes you, how it changes your relationships, and how it transforms your world. Because when you are grateful, life itself becomes your teacher, your guide, and your greatest gift. Friends, let me ask you a very simple question. How much time, energy, and resources are you investing in yourself? I don't mean buying things, indulging in luxuries, or chasing fleeting pleasures. I mean genuinely, intentionally building the most important asset in your life, you. We live in a world obsessed with external achievements, degrees, promotions, money, social validation, but we often forget the one thing that determines all of that: our own growth, our own knowledge, our own character, our own inner strength. Investing in yourself is not a luxury, It is a responsibility. It is the single most important habit that will determine whether 2026 is just another year or your year of transformation. Think about it for a moment. Your mind, your skills, your mindset, these are like a garden. And what you choose to plant in this garden determines what grows. If you neglect it, weeds of doubt, fear, and ignorance will take over. But if you nurture it with knowledge, discipline, and positive habits, it will flourish, producing fruits of success, confidence, and fulfillment. The question is, what seeds are you planting in your mind every day? Let me share a story. There was a young man who felt stuck in life. He was frustrated with his job, disheartened by his circumstances, and unsure of his future. One day, a mentor told him something very simple: invest in yourself, read, learn, grow, become more valuable than you were yesterday. At first, he didn't understand. How could reading books or learning skills change his life? But he started small. He read for 30 minutes every day, learned new skills online, attended workshops, and reflected on his growth. Months passed, and slowly his confidence increased. His ideas became sharper, his decisions wiser, and his work more impactful. Within a year, his life had shifted dramatically. Not because the world gave him something, but because he had given to himself first. This is the power of self-investment. It compounds quietly but relentlessly, shaping your future in ways you cannot always see immediately. Investing in yourself comes in many forms. It could be reading books that expand your mind and change your perspective. It could be learning a new skill that enhances your professional value or opens doors you never imagined. It could be attending seminars, listening to podcasts, or seeking mentors who can guide you on the path of growth. It could be physical fitness, mental health practices, or spiritual practices that strengthen your resilience and inner peace. Every moment, every resource, every effort you put into improving yourself is a deposit into the bank of your future. And unlike money, this investment never depreciates. It only grows. Friends, I want to emphasize something very important. Investing in yourself is not selfish. Some people hesitate, saying, I don't have time. I have responsibilities. But think carefully. How can you serve others, succeed in your work, or lead effectively if you do not first cultivate the best version of yourself? Just as an empty cup cannot pour water, a mind that is stagnant cannot create impact. By investing in yourself, you are not only enriching your life, you are increasing your ability to contribute, help, and inspire those around you. It is also essential to understand that self-investment is not about instant results. It is about consistency, patience, and faith. You will not become an expert overnight. You will not gain wisdom immediately. But every small step you take matters. Every article you read, every skill you practice, every reflection you engage in, it all adds up. It is the consistent effort that compounds, turning small daily improvements into extraordinary life transformations over time. Let me tell you something even more powerful. Investing in yourself changes your mindset. When you commit to growth, you stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities. You stop complaining about circumstances and start finding solutions. You stop feeling inadequate and start feeling capable. You begin to approach life with curiosity, courage, and creativity. This mindset shift alone can elevate your life beyond measure. Friends, the world will always offer distractions, excuses, and reasons to neglect yourself. It will tell you to focus on what is urgent, what is immediate, and what everyone else expects of you. But the truly successful, the truly fulfilled, the truly impactful people are those who prioritize themselves first. They understood that their knowledge, their skills, their mindset, and their character are the foundation upon which everything else is built. If you want to change your life, start here. Start with you. Invest in your growth, your learning, your mindset, and your health. Every day, make a small commitment to become better than you were yesterday. I want you to visualize something. Imagine it is December 31st, 2026. You look back at the year and you see a person who has grown, learned, and evolved. That person has wisdom, skills, confidence, and resilience. That person has achieved goals that once felt impossible. That person is ready for bigger dreams, bigger challenges, and bigger impact. That person is you, but only if you start investing in yourself today, not tomorrow, not next week. So, my friends, make this commitment. Read, learn, grow, reflect, and strengthen yourself every single day. Treat yourself as the most important project in your life, because it truly is. Build a mind that can navigate challenges, a heart that can inspire others, and a spirit that can endure adversity. Because when you invest in yourself, you are not just preparing for success, you are preparing for a life of meaning, fulfillment, and extraordinary impact. And that, my friends, is the path to making 2026 your year. Friends, let me ask you something very simple but very profound. How often do you really take care of your body? Not just occasionally, not just when you feel like it, but as a daily, conscious practice. You see, our body is the vehicle through which we experience life. It carries us through every challenge, every joy, every moment of existence. And yet so often we neglect it. We complain about fatigue, stress, or lack of energy, but we fail to realize that the key to vitality, focus, and resilience lies in how we treat this one gift we cannot replace. Moving your body, exercising, and caring for your physical self is not just about looking good. It is about feeling good, being strong, and living fully. Think about this: every action you take, every thought you have, every decision you make is influenced by the condition of your body. When you are tired, lethargic, or unhealthy, your mind is foggy, your focus is scattered, and your energy is low. But when your body is strong, flexible, and energized, your mind becomes sharp, your emotions become balanced, and your potential skyrockets. Exercise is not punishment for eating poorly or sitting too long. It is a celebration of what your body can do. It is an acknowledgement that you respect yourself enough to give yourself strength, vitality, and longevity. Let me share a story. There was a young professional constantly overwhelmed by work, stress, and endless responsibilities. He felt drained every day, reaching the point where even small tasks felt monumental. One day, a friend challenged him to start exercising, just 10 minutes a day. At first, he laughed at the idea. "I don't have time," he said. But he tried it. The first week was difficult, his body protested, his muscles ached, and his energy seemed to drop. But he persisted. Within a month, he noticed a subtle shift. He slept better, thought clearer, and felt lighter in his mind. By 6 months, he had transformed. His confidence soared, his productivity increased, and he had more energy to enjoy life. What had seemed like a small, simple habit became the cornerstone of his success, well-being, and happiness. Friends, this is the transformative power of moving your body every day. Exercise does not need to be extreme. It is not about lifting the heaviest weights, running the longest distances, or achieving a perfect physique. It is about consistency and intention. A short walk in the morning, a few stretches, yoga, swimming, dancing, or simple bodyweight exercises can all be incredibly powerful. The goal is to awaken your body, increase your circulation, strengthen your muscles, and release the tension that accumulates from hours of sitting, stress, and worry. Movement invigorates not just your body, but your mind and spirit as well. It is like shaking off the dust that settles on your energy and saying, I am ready to live fully today. Friends, there is something even deeper about exercising your body. It teaches discipline and self-respect. When you commit to moving your body daily, even when it is inconvenient, even when you feel tired, you are sending a message to yourself. I matter. I am worth the effort. I respect the life I have been given. And that mindset spills over into every aspect of your life. You become more consistent in your work, more committed to your goals, and more attentive to your health, relationships, and personal growth. Exercise is not just physical, it is a practice of integrity, resilience, and self-love. Physical activity also helps you manage stress in ways nothing else can. Life will always bring challenges, pressure, and moments of uncertainty. But when you exercise, your body releases endorphins, reduces stress hormones, and stabilizes your mood. You feel lighter, calmer, and more capable of handling difficulties. Imagine facing the pressures of life with a body that is strong, a mind that is alert, and a heart that is calm. Exercise is one of the most powerful tools for creating that balance, yet so few people prioritize it consistently. Friends, I want to make this very clear. You do not need permission to take care of your body. You do not need a perfect schedule, a fancy gym, or hours of free time. You need commitment, even in small doses. 10 minutes in the morning, a brisk walk after lunch, stretching before bed. These small steps compound into monumental benefits over time. And the beauty is that every positive action you take toward your body rewards you immediately with energy, clarity, and vitality, while also creating long-term benefits for your health and longevity. Let me invite you to visualize something. Imagine waking up on January 1st, 2026, feeling light, energetic, and ready to embrace life. Imagine your mind being sharp, your body being strong, and your spirit being calm. Imagine moving through each day with confidence, resilience, and vitality. This is not a dream. This is achievable if you commit to one simple habit: move your body daily with intention, consistency, and gratitude. Friends, your body is the temple through which you experience life. Treat it with care, respect, and love. Exercise not just for appearance, but for strength, focus, and joy. Move, stretch, walk, dance, or play. Celebrate what your body can do and commit to nurturing it every single day. Because when you honor your body, you honor your mind, your spirit, and your life itself. And that, my friends, is the foundation for making 2026 truly your year. Friends, I want to ask you something very important. How much of your attention is truly yours? How often do you feel that your mind is wandering, distracted, or exhausted by the endless stream of notifications, messages, videos, and social media feeds. We live in an age where our attention is constantly under siege. Every moment, our phones, laptops, and screens compete for our focus. And if we are not careful, we end up surrendering our most precious resource, our attention, to endless digital distractions. Controlling your digital diet is not about abandoning technology or rejecting progress. It is about reclaiming your mind, your time, and your life so that you can use technology as a tool, not a trap. Think about this: most of us scroll endlessly, often without realizing why. Hours vanish as we consume content that adds little value to our growth, happiness, or well being. We check our phones first thing in the morning and the last thing before sleep. Our minds are saturated with news, opinions, comparisons, and often negativity. And what is the cost of this habit? Lost focus, wasted time, mental fatigue, and a subtle dissatisfaction with our own lives. Friends, your attention is your most powerful currency. Once spent, it cannot be earned back. And yet we give it away for free, moment by moment, click by click. Let me share a story. There was a young professional, ambitious and talented, who felt frustrated with his progress. He worked hard but struggled to achieve his goals. One day, a mentor asked him to track how he spent his time online. He realized, to his shock, that he was spending almost 3 to 4 hours a day scrolling social media, watching videos, and getting lost in endless distractions. That realization was painful, but it was also empowering. He decided to take control. He set boundaries: no phone for the first hour after waking, no mindless scrolling during work, and a strict limit of social media in the evening. Within weeks, his productivity skyrocketed, his focus sharpened, and he even found more time for hobbies, learning, and meaningful connections. Friends, this is the power of controlling your digital diet. It transforms not just your day, but your life. Controlling your digital diet begins with awareness. Observe how you use your devices. Are you scrolling because you are bored, lonely, or anxious? Are you checking notifications out of habit rather than necessity? Once you recognize these patterns, you can begin to take intentional steps to reclaim your attention. Start by setting boundaries. Simple practices like turning off unnecessary notifications, setting specific times for social media, or keeping your phone out of reach during focused work can make a huge difference. Every small act of self-control strengthens your mind, builds discipline, and creates space for meaningful focus. Friends, there is something even more profound about this habit. Controlling your digital diet protects your mental and emotional health. Endless exposure to curated images, opinions, and comparisons can fuel envy, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. Social media often shows life through a filter of perfection, making us feel that we are missing out, that we are not enough, that we are falling behind. By consciously controlling what you consume, you protect your mind from unnecessary negativity and cultivate a space for gratitude, creativity, and clarity. You learn to feed your mind with content that inspires, educates, and uplifts, rather than distracts and depletes. Another key aspect is intention. Technology itself is neutral. It is a tool. But intention is what determines whether it serves you or enslaves you. When you approach your digital life with purpose, every click, every scroll, every interaction is deliberate. You ask yourself, does this add value to my day? Does this help me grow, connect, or learn? If the answer is no, you step away. Friends, living intentionally in a digital age is a superpower. It allows you to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your relationships, your growth, and your inner peace. Let me give you a practical perspective. Imagine replacing just 1 hour of mindless scrolling each day with reading, journaling, exercising, or meaningful conversation. That 1 hour adds up to more than 30 hours in a month, 365 hours in a year. That is almost 2 full weeks of conscious, focused, and intentional living. Now imagine what you could achieve with that time if you directed it toward learning a new skill, nurturing relationships, or pursuing a dream. Friends, this is not theory. This is reality for anyone willing to take control of their attention and digital consumption. Finally, I want you to see this habit as an act of self-respect. Every time you choose your mind over distraction, your focus over temptation, your growth over passivity, you are saying to yourself, I matter, my life matters, my goals matter. This is not restriction, it is liberation. You are freeing yourself from the invisible chains of endless digital consumption and reclaiming your ability to live fully, purposefully, and intentionally. Friends, your mind is a garden, and your attention is the water that nourishes it. If you allow constant distractions to dominate, weeds of anxiety, comparison, and wasted time will grow. But if you control your digital diet, focus your attention on what matters, and feed your mind with positivity, growth, and meaningful connections, your garden will flourish beyond imagination. You will think clearer, act wiser, and live a life of intention rather than reaction. So today, I invite you to take one step. Observe your digital habits, set boundaries, protect your attention, feed your mind with what uplifts, educates, and inspires. Because when you control your digital diet, you are not just reclaiming your time, you are reclaiming your life. And that, my friends, is a habit that will make 2026 truly your year. Friends, let me ask you something very important. How often do you set goals that feel so big, so overwhelming, that they scare you, paralyze you, or make you procrastinate? We live in a world that glorifies grand dreams, overnight success, and monumental achievements, but the truth is, transformation rarely happens in leaps. It happens in small, deliberate steps. The habit of setting small, achievable goals is one of the most powerful ways to create momentum, build confidence, and ultimately reach the life you dream of. Because small victories, repeated consistently, lead to extraordinary results over time. Think about it. If you aim for a mountain in a single step, you will stumble, feel frustrated, and perhaps even give up. But if you break that climb into manageable steps, focusing on one small milestone at a time, suddenly the impossible becomes possible. Small goals are not insignificant. They are the building blocks of success, the stepping stones that create momentum, and the fuel that sustains motivation. Every small goal achieved is a victory, and every victory, no matter how small, strengthens your belief in yourself and your ability to create change. Let me share a story. There was a young man who dreamed of writing a book. But the thought of writing hundreds of pages felt overwhelming. He would sit at his desk, staring at the blank page, paralyzed by the enormity of the task. One day, a mentor told him, "Don't focus on the whole book. Focus on writing just one paragraph today." That was it, just one paragraph. The next day, he wrote another paragraph. And slowly, day by day, week by week, those paragraphs became pages, and the pages became chapters. Within a year, he had completed his book. Friends, he did not achieve this by trying to do it all at once. He achieved it by focusing on small, achievable goals, one at a time. This is the power of starting small. Small goals are also powerful because they build consistency. Consistency is the secret ingredient that separates those who dream from those who achieve. When you focus on small goals, you are training yourself to show up, to take action, and to make progress every single day. It doesn't matter if the progress seems tiny, it matters that you are moving forward. Progress, no matter how small, creates confidence, momentum, and a sense of purpose. And when momentum builds, even the biggest dreams no longer feel impossible, they feel inevitable. Friends, another important aspect of small goals is clarity. When you break a large vision into smaller, actionable steps, you gain clarity on what needs to be done. You move from vague aspirations like, I want to be successful, or I want to be healthier, to specific, achievable actions like, I will exercise for 15 minutes every morning, or I will write 200 words a day. This clarity reduces overwhelm, eliminates confusion, and creates a roadmap for your life. Without small goals, dreams remain abstract, and action remains scattered. With small goals, dreams become tangible, measurable, and achievable. There is also a psychological benefit to setting small goals. They create a cycle of positivity. Each time you achieve a small goal, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical associated with accomplishment and motivation. This creates a positive reinforcement loop where you feel rewarded for your efforts, motivated to continue, and confident in your ability to achieve more. In other words, small goals make success addictive. And once you experience that, you are more likely to take on bigger challenges, confident that you can succeed if you take it one step at a time. Let me emphasize these small goals do not mean thinking small. They are not about lowering your standards or limiting your potential. They are about creating a sustainable path to success. The goal remains ambitious, the book, the business, the transformation, but the steps are achievable, manageable, and deliberate. This approach respects the human mind's need for progress and the body's need for reinforcement. By focusing on what is achievable today, you set yourself up for extraordinary accomplishments tomorrow. Friends, I want you to visualize something. Imagine it is December 31st, 2026. You look back at the year and realize that the life you wanted seemed impossible at the start. But because you set small, achievable goals every day, week, and month, you have transformed yourself. You have grown stronger, wiser, and more capable. You have built momentum that carries you beyond what you thought was possible. You have learned the secret. Big dreams are achieved one small step at a time. So today, I invite you to commit to this habit. Identify one small goal that will move you closer to your larger vision. Take action on it consistently. Celebrate the small victories. Learn from setbacks, but never lose momentum. Repeat this process every day, and you will discover the compounding power of small, deliberate action. The habits you cultivate, the progress you make, and the confidence you build will carry you forward, not just in 2026, but for the rest of your life. Friends, remember this. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The most extraordinary lives are not built in a day, they are built with small, intentional, and achievable steps taken consistently over time. Set your small goals, achieve them, build momentum, and watch as your life transforms, step by step, goal by goal. This is the habit that turns dreams into reality, aspirations into accomplishments, and a simple year into a life-changing journey. And that, my friends, is how you make 2026 truly your year.